It's not 5 o'clock, and they don't care. Welcome to Wine to 5. Entertainment, education, and everyday drinking for everyday people. Your hosts are Valerie Caruso and Stephanie Davis, two wine educators who don't need a clock to know when to pour that next glass.
Well, listeners, we are feeling very spirited today, and in this episode, we're going to give you the down and dirty on the lesser-known alcohol known as pisco, P-I-S-C-O.
Yeah, and I thought this has been kind of fun, like learning about pisco is not something that I've really spent a lot of time studying or drinking, and so buying it and tasting it for the show has been, a treat, I think. So that's what this show is all about. We learn, pass it on, and this was actually Val's idea. She's like, let's do pisco. So thanks, Val, for queuing this up for all of us.
Well, thank you for doing the yeoman's work on this as well, because it was one of those things that I wouldn't even have in the house if it were not for the diploma.
True.
It was a brandy spirit that I had to learn about. And I love to do comparisons. It's how I learn. So I remember writing out comparisons for Chilean and Peruvian pisco. And these are the only countries in South America that are supposed to be able to produce this. So we thought it would be fun to talk about what pisco is, where it comes from, and the differences between the two. So we're going to explore that a little bit with you guys today. And I think we both have cocktails made with pisco as well. So we're going to talk about a little bit about the versatility of the beverage and the different things you could do with it besides sipping it straight.
Which is also very good.
Absolutely. You want to talk about yours first, or you want me to talk about mine first?
You go.
All right, I'll talk about mine. So I am drinking, and actually we've had it on the show before. We had a Chilean Negroni on this show back in episode 50 when we were getting chilly with it, I think is what we were talking about. So this is still the Capel. It's still got a number 3 on the bottle from one of my blind tasting exercises. And the Capel, C-A-P-E-L, Pisco, is from Chile. It is made with Muscat grapes, Pedro Ximénez grapes, and Torontel grapes, and spends about 5 months in wood or so. And with it, I've created yet another cocktail. And there are a lot of cocktails on the website as well. But this is 1 ounce of the pisco. It's a half ounce of triple sec, 1/4 ounce lemon juice, 1 dash of orange bitters, 2 dashes of aromatic bitters, 2 ounces of leftover Prosecco. I garnished it with one of those little dried orange and dried lemon wedges from Trader Joe's because they're here. And you're probably thinking, well, what's it called, Val? I have no clue what it's called. It's a pisco cocktail with Prosecco. So pisco and Prosecco cocktail. Maybe the 2P cocktail.
Maybe it's Frisco Pisco.
Oh, yeah. We could call it that. Or the P squared. Prosecco Pisco cocktail.
I like that. P squared. That's cute.
All right. I'm going to type it in the show notes.
Did those garnishes wind up in your drink?
They did. I don't know if you can see, but they're really beautiful color. I'll post a picture of it. You eat the peel and everything. So because the drink is kind of tart and clean and bubbly and it's not overly sweet, the candied orange peel and lemon peel had a really nice touch because they do have a little bit of sugar. They're sweet and moist, according to the package. Make of that what you will. But
one of my friends from pharmacy school hates the word moist.
I can see why.
Shout out to Heidi. No, you met Heidi when we were in Portland.
Heidi.
She hates the word moist.
Well, these are sweet and moist, Heidi, and I'm so sorry, but cheers to you, darling, to the P squared cocktail.
Oh, that's great. I'll have to try that, and that'll definitely go into our Wine 25 cocktail list.
Absolutely. What are you drinking up there?
Well, my buddy Cheryl, which I think I've mentioned her many times, helped me recreate a cocktail that she made for her sister-in-law's wedding reception called the Minty Queen. No, I'm sorry, Minty Quinn. So it's called the Minty Quinn, and it's a refreshing blend of pisco, Midori, cucumber juice, and muddled mint and lime. So the recipe will be in the blog. And the pisco that I'm using is from Bodega Payet in Peru. So it's kind of cool. Val's got a Chilean. I've got a Peruvian. And my buddy Wayne helped me pick it out because he carries 3 Peruvian piscos and 1 Chilean. It was hard. I was like, I don't know which one I should get, and so he kind of looked at them all with me and talked me through it. But this bottle, it's the Acolado style, and it's vintage dated. I thought, I was like, that's cool. 2011. Mm-hmm. And it runs about $30 a bottle. And the 5 grape varieties used in this particular bottle are Quebranta, Torontel, Moscatel, Albilla, and Pink Italia. But what was really cool about it is the back label. And you don't see it because it came in this box. So you have to take the bottle out of the box. But on the back label, it says, excellent on desserts, ice cream, chocolate, or as a reading roommate.
Is it sweet?
No, it's not sweet. And it's really very good. You can just drink it neat. It's really, it's, I know our favorite word is not smooth.
Right. We're not going to do moist. We're not going to do smooth.
Yeah. But it doesn't have any sharp edges, and it's really nice. I just think that the funny part is this reading roommate. I mean, I'm just imagining myself being like, hey, is Pisco home yet?
Yeah.
Maybe I need to get the Pisco a key to my house or something. No, but anyway, so funny.
All right. So I'm still stuck on the ice cream or chocolate thing. Excellent on ice cream, on chocolate. I don't understand where they're going with that.
I don't understand it either. But when I was looking up all this Pisco stuff, it's like they put Pisco in everything. In your coffee, in your Coke, it goes in your beer even. Your Pisco.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
So tell us a little bit about what Pisco really is.
Yes. Okay. So it's clear, colorless distillate from fermented grapes, aka wine. You can think of it as brandy. Peru and Chile are the only countries allowed, which I think Val just mentioned, to produce the product by the name Pisco. And in Peru, they're kind of fussy about their prized Pisco. There are rules, and they are not meant for breaking. There's 5 DOs, denomination of origin, departments in Lima, Ica, Arequipa, Moquegua, and 3 valleys in the Tacna. The Piscos have to be made in a copper still, cannot be diluted, and must be bottled at the distillation strength, and cannot have anything added to it. That's a really big deal for Peruvian Pisco. The 8 grape varieties allowed are Quebranta, Uvina, Negro Corriente, and Molar, plus the aromatic grapes, Torontel, which if you hear us say Torontel, we're talking about Torontes, and Moscatel, which is Muscat, Italia, and Albilla. So Quebranta, though, is the most widely used of all the grapes.
All grapes that most of us have never heard of.
Right. I know, except for the Torontes, right? And the Muscat, right. Totally. And then there are 4 designated Peruvian Pisco types or styles. And I mentioned one earlier, the one that I've got. But so here's kind of the list in, they're not really in any kind of order, but the Mosto Verde, which translates to green must, is distilled from partially fermented must. The Puro, or pure, is a single variety of grape. The Acolado, which is a multi-varietal, that's like blended, that's the one I've got, an example of what I have, is blended from various grapes. And then the Aromaticus, which means aromatic, it's like a single grape, but it's one of the aromatic ones. So those are kind of the 4 styles. The other thing that's important, it has to be aged, or they might say it has to rest for a minimum of 3 months in stainless steel, glass, or a vessel that doesn't add any flavor, color, or anything to it.
Okay, so that answers the sweet question from earlier. You can't add anything to it, so it's naturally not going to have like a liqueur kind of thing. It's going to be straight up clear distillate. Yeah. That's it.
Yep, that's it. That's totally it. What else? Where is it from? So I've been talking about Peru. Pisco is Peru's national spirit, and it's exported to 44 different countries The word pisco, though, has many origins. So this was kind of one of those things where you're like, I'm not finding the true origin, but, that's kind of what's out there. Did you find anything different, Val?
I did not find anything different, and we did look at several resources as well. And, of course, we linked up the official governing guidelines where you guys can go look if you speak, or you can just do the translate thing. So
yeah,
that was what I saw, too, the bird.
Yes. So some say that it is of the Quechua language, meaning bird, and also the name of the Peruvian colonial port town of Pisco.
That's true. Yeah, there is the map. There is the picture of the map with the port of Pisco. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And then there's this other, there's Mapuche people from Chile and Argentina who, are sort of saying, well, it comes from our word piscu, meaning something boiled in a pot. So it's kind of like when we did that episode on where the word shot from shot glass comes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think I've seen some different things since then as well. So.
Yeah. Who knows?
Right.
So when did Peru start producing pisco? Well, Peru was making wine in the 1500s, but the Spanish crown didn't like the Peruvians competing with their wine business ventures. And so they ended up taxing the Peruvian wine, banned exportation, also banned the establishment of new vineyards, those jerks. And the Peruvians started distilling the wine in response to all of this. Then, when the earthquake in 1687 brought most of the wine production to a screeching halt, then it was kind of like pisco production and wine production was basically just like barely humping along. Then you've got wars, struggling economies, all those like not cool things. And then, wine growing and distilling just really didn't happen much. So, it wasn't until more recently that things have started having more steam and now you're seeing it out there. So we do have some more information about all the Peruvian pisco guidelines, and you can find it on the official governing website. So that's we're going to have a link to that in the show notes. What else?
I think that's it. My cocktail's empty.
I still have half a cocktail. I needed this cocktail today.
Well, it's Monday, first of all. We're recording on a Monday. What's really interesting is those last couple sips with that candied orange and candied lemon peel. And they had a chance to kind of get all happy in the bottom of the glass there. It was almost like they were marinating in the booze. And those last couple sips, my mouth is still watering. This is a really good cocktail. So I can't wait for you guys to try it. But like Steph said, she was talking about Peruvian pisco. Of course, there's Chilean pisco, which was the only one I could find on a shelf at a local store here back when I bought it. And yes, of course, pisco is produced in Chile because you guys know they make wine there. We've talked about it before on the show. Apparently, there's this hot rivalry between who does it better, who does it real, because people got to compete. I don't know what that's about. But right. Chile does specify quality. That's one thing they do. They do have two denominations, the Atacama and the Coquimbo, specifically the Elqui Valley. So if you're studying your Chilean wine regions, you should know where that is on a map. But we're both drinking the Chilean Negroni back in episode 50, like I mentioned, with this very pisco. And we'll link that up so you guys can hear about it, because that was delicious as well.
Well, and that just totally reminded me that could be another drink that I make maybe around the holidays, because I wasn't thinking to make Negronis with this pisco I just bought.
And it is delicious because, like we talk about later on in the show, you can use it in place of a gin, in place of a tequila, anywhere you use a brandy. I actually keep this in my cupboard and I use it for cooking brandy sometimes because I'm too cheap to use things like cognac and Armagnac, which, I like a lot. But what was interesting, I found out today, there used to be 3 grape varieties, and it's been in my brain ever since I studied it, that there were three grape varieties permitted for Chilean pisco. There was the Moscatel, which is the Muscat of Alexandria, the Pedro Ximénez, not to be confused with the Pedro Ximénez style of sherry, and the Torontel, which is a cross between Muscatel Amarillo and Moscatel. However, there are now 5. So if we add pink muscat to the mix and Torontes San Juanino, we do have to make a note that the Torrontés that you hear about in the Argentinian wine is actually a Torrontés Riojano. So it's not the same as a Torrontés San Juanino. I didn't know there were different Torrontés. We just drink it and didn't even know. We know it's part of the Muscat family, which is why it's so aromatic. But so this is a Torrontés San Juanino that we're talking about for Pisco, not the Riojano that we often see in the Argentinian wine labels. As far as we know, that could be changing too, because nothing in the wine, nothing's definitive. And I think that's what I love about the world of alcohol. It's constantly changing. And there are different types of Chilean piscos based on aging. And this is actually a pisco blanco. It's a transparente. So transparent means clear. And that means, like the Peruvian pisco, it is aged in steel or in glass, or I think they have like concrete or something like that, or clay or something. And also neutral wood, so as not to transfer any color to the drink. So it should be clear. But they also, this is one of the main differences between Chilean and Peruvian pisco, is Chilean pisco can be aged in wood. So they have a pisco de guarda, which is aged for at least 6 months in oak, and a pisco envejecido, which is aged for at least a year in French or American oak, sometimes 2, which is what most producers do. And there is another difference, that the Chilean pisco is more regulated on minimum alcohol content, and there are different levels, beginning with 30% for a traditional style pisco, and you should see my hands just waving all over the place. Like, you can see me emphasizing the graduation up to 43% minimum alcohol by volume for Grand Pisco. But we're going to put the actual Chilean pisco production rules at Pisco Chile on the website. It is in Spanish, but again, you can do the translation thing, and the videos are absolutely gorgeous.
That's good. We like videos.
The videos are beautiful, so I definitely advise you guys to check that out if you want to learn a little bit more about Pisco and who knew. But Steph, you're the cocktail mistress up there. I have to say, you are the queen of the cocktails. What do you do with this stuff?
Well, it's famous for the Pisco Sour, so many people have heard about that drink, and it dates back to 1916. And the drink was really born in Lima, Peru, at the Morris Bar. The inventor of the cocktail was an American named Victor Morris. He created the drink, because he ended up having this large event and knew that he was going to be running out of whiskey. And so instead of making whiskey sours, he was making pisco sours, because he knew that's what the local spirit was. So, and the Morris Bar was one of those fancy pants places, so he needed to make a good cocktail where those customers would be satisfied, but he didn't have enough regular whiskey to go around. So that's kind of why that drink came about. And we do have a recipe in the blog, but basically, depending on how you want to dial in the sweetness is where you dial in the simple syrup up or down. But it's 3 ounces of pisco, 1 lemon juice, 1 simple syrup, and 1 ounce egg white. And when I've made it before, I even actually measure the egg white.
Okay, and that's easy to remember too, because I think a lot of times when it comes to making cocktails, I like ingredient amounts you can remember. I don't have to look it up.
Yeah, 3, 1,
or
1,
you just
1.
have to taste. Yeah, so 3 ounces of pisco and 1 ounce of each of the other ingredients, of the 3 other ingredients. So easy to remember. I love things that can click in your brain and help you remember them.
Totally. And then the other thing, don't forget, it's not really listed as the part of the basic recipe, but instead of garnishing it, you put a couple of drops of Angostura bitters just on the top. So it adds some decoration. So you see a little bit of a pink, from the orange part of the bitters.
Fun.
Pink on top, and then you get just aromatics kind of as you're nosing the glass, so that's the way to do that. But like Val and I mentioned many times already, is that pisco can be substituted for all sorts of things. So this is just, use your imagination, go for it, put it in anything. I mean, I was looking at some cool pisco recipes today that was just make a Greyhound with grapefruit juice, and instead of vodka, put the pisco in it. I mean, lots of simple drinks, everyday drinks can be made with pisco.
Mm-hmm. Sangria, There were some sangria recipes,
Yeah.
I believe, on the Capel website as well. Every website has a pisco sour on it. Every single website. I mean, it's just the thing people make with it. And honestly, I don't believe I've ever had one.
Pisco sour?
I don't believe I've ever had one. I know. How crazy is that? There are a lot of cocktails. I didn't drink cocktails until very, very recently. I didn't even keep like hard liquor in the house unless I was making like a rum ball or a margarita pitcher or something. It's just not something I did. And now I'm going through whiskey like it's water over here. But I don't have a problem at all.
What's on our wino radar?
The wino radar is very exciting. We've talked about Taste Vacations on here. You guys have listened to Alan talk about his passion for helping people discover putting things in their mouth while they travel, which is like our favorite thing to do. So they're having an 8-day Peru food tour.
That sounds so good.
April 9th through 16th. How is it not full? I don't know. And it is tastevacations.com/Peru-food. We'll put that on our website, but we always have the Taste Vacation link on the website as well, since they're one of our affiliates. But you can also visit the town of Pisco and dine at the #1 ranked restaurant in Latin America called Astrid y Gaston. And then you stay at a hotel located in a vineyard if you must. There are cooking classes, brewery tours, and a visit to Machu Picchu. So I guess they're not going to do the hike. They're just going to visit.
Probably. I don't know. Maybe that's...
sissies.
Who knows?
I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. John did the Machu Picchu, and he put a book together, and it is amazing.
Yeah.
So if you're a hiker, that's definitely something I would go there in advance and do, or do afterwards.
Right. Yes.
I don't
It's
know,
on our
but-
list. It's on our bucket list.
And what isn't on our bucket list?
I know. Well,
So-
especially if it has to do with food and booze and wine.
All right. Definitely and honest. Who are our patrons this week?
Tenacious Tasters, Jeff E. from the We Like Drinking podcast, Lynn from Savor the Harvest, Sebastian of Sassy Italy Tours, Jen in Maryland, David and Lisa in Illinois. And it's not 5 o'clock and we don't care. Patrons, Meg in South Dakota, Clay in Arizona. In California, Andrew, Aswani, and John. Chantel in Ontario. Mary Lou in Pennsylvania. Kathy in Georgia. In Colorado, Chris and Janet and Diane. In Illinois, Steve and Renee. Kathy in Tennessee. And Ashley in North Carolina.
We have Tastemaker listeners, David in Scotland, Carol in Kentucky, Karen in California. Anybody can go to our Patreon page and play. The web address is patreon.com/wine to5 podcast. That's WINETWOFIVE podcast, on how to be entered into our monthly drawing, exclusive content, and earn super cool swag. And we have some super cool swag coming. It's just not even funny. And we are here for you each and every single stinking week. Between episodes, you can find us in the social spaces at Wine25. Spell it out. And we encourage you to join our private Facebook group called the Wine to Five Community. I'm Val. You can find me on Twitter at WineGalUnboxed and on the Vino with Val Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest spaces. Steph, very simple. She's the wine heroine, and you can find her absolutely everywhere. But until next week, everybody, cheers.
Cheers.
See, the fruit is gone. I was chewing on it.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Wine to 5 podcast. Be sure to check us out at Facebook/WineTWO5 and tune in next week for more fun and useful sip tips.